You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that reveals facts, truth, research, and statistics and never messes around. We lay down the entire truth about everything regarding your Detroit and Michigan sports teams, no matter if it's good or bad. No junk, no entertainment, no homerism, no coddling, no pop culture, no opinions, no shilling, and no fluff. Head over to our website at MichiganSportsTruth.com, follow us on Twitter at Michigan_Truth, and like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth. The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
Episode 307 of the Week in Review is now in session. Taylor Phillips. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Buck Geno here. Follow him on Twitter at BuckGeno III, at BuckGeno III, 3 I's for Roman numerals, and follow our show on Twitter at Michigan_Truth. Got a jam-packed show, except no segments tonight, but let's start off in chronological order. The MAC tournament, the Central Michigan Chippewas beat the Bowling Green Falcons 81-77 in overtime, but then they lost to the two good Buffalo Bulls 89-74. So there go some of their seniors, including Josh Kaczynski. That said, the Chippewas ended their regular season on a high note and then moved on to the quarterfinal round and ran into a very good team.
That game in overtime, but then won the right to become cannon fodder for the NCAA Tournament bound Bulls. And, there's some seniors leaving, and Geno Davis has some work ahead of him, but, and as such as life in the MAC, I mean, you're not going to be pulling down 4 or 5 star kids. You're going to be getting some of the lower-rated kids out of high school, and going to have to build good relationships with the area high schools, and, for all the work that Geno Davis has done at Central Michigan, I thought that this season actually went better than planned. After Marcus Keene left, a lot of people had the Chippewas left for dead. He did have some questionable lineup decisions, as you mentioned, Josh Kaczynski leaving after his senior year. He was in the starting lineup for a long time, but overall winning record for Central Michigan. And, coming off of a season where they weren't able to get into a tournament with the nation's leading scorer, a lot of people thought that they would be a very bad team. They weren't great, but they had a winning record, and I think they have something to build on as the years go on. And I think Davis has built them into a decent program, and that's kind of where they're at right now.
Yep. Then you got the Western Michigan Broncos losing in the first round, 79-78 to the Akron Zips. The Broncos fell apart at the end of the regular season, and then they came close to beating a very bad last-place team in the Akron Zips, but they still couldn't beat them.
Yeah. No, I listened to that second half of that game on the radio, and boy, Akron just came alive there. The bad thing for Akron is they put 2 great halves of basketball together. Unfortunately, they weren't in the same game. They had a great second half against Western. They had a great first half against Eastern, but then Eastern Michigan was able to pull ahead and beat the Akron Zips in the quarterfinals of the MAC tournament. We'll get to them a little bit later. But yeah, Western just kind of fell apart down the stretch. And Coach Steve Hawkins, he's been there a while. And he, too, has built up a program that is kind of middle of the road right now with Mac. The one thing I'll say for Coach Hawkins is, having met him personally over the years, he's a fantastic guy. And I think for Western, they're not known to be a basketball school. They have no aspirations of being a big-time basketball school. That said, you do have to produce at the Division I level, and I think that Coach Steve Hawkins should be able to come back next year, depending on what recruits they get. And again, you're not getting 4 or 5-star kids. You're getting, I want to say middle of the road, but I mean, you're getting lower-rated kids. And you have to build a solid program, and they just didn't have a lot of leadership this year for whatever reason. And, those teams age. Sometimes you get a good class in, and those guys grow together. I think that's got to be the goal for both Central and Western, is finding a good class and having those kids grow together. Because when you see those teams get to their junior and senior years, because a lot of teams at the Division I level don't have guys that stick around that long, you have to be able to build that type of teamwork to have any success and find your way into the NCAA tournament. So, a disappointing year for Western for sure. But, again, Coach Steve Hawkins really does a decent job down there in Kalamazoo with the resources that he has afforded. And I think next year, again, they'll probably be right in the middle of it in the MAC.
And then you got the Eastern Michigan Eagles making it to the MAC semifinals after beating Akron 67-58 in the quarterfinal, and then losing to the Toledo Rockets by 64-63. Eastern before that won 71-69 in Toledo the week before, but Toledo, looking for revenge, just barely got it. They went on to play Buffalo in the MAC championship game.
Yeah, that was you got a team that Eastern had swept during the regular season. And I think they're kind of victims of their own scheduling, because the MAC schedule had them playing twice in the last 2 weeks, and then they had to play them again the next week in the MAC tournament. And when you have a team that you've played 3 times, it's hard to beat them 3 times. And it's really hard to do it when you've played them in the span of what amounts to 3 weeks. So it was a great effort by Eastern. I thought they had something going, but they just couldn't hang on. And Toledo hit the game-winning 3, and they were able to advance to the MAC finals, where they ended up losing against Buffalo. Not to say that Eastern could have beaten Buffalo, but it was nice for them to find out. They'll be playing in one of those lower-rung tournaments, the CIT or the CBI, probably here in the next couple of days. We'll hear about that. And, Rob Murphy gets a contract extension. They had over 20 wins as a program this year. We'll see where he's
All right, so that's the last and final MAC roundup for the week. Now we turn our attention to the NCAA tournament and focus on the Michigan State Spartans first.
Valentine for the win!
They are 3-seeded in the Midwest region, and they play the 14th-seeded Bucknell Bison Friday at 7:10 on CBS. The winner will take on either TCU or the winner between Syracuse and Arizona State. The Syracuse Orange and the Arizona State Sun Devils play each other in the first 4 round. The winner moves on to play TCU in the first round, the round of 64, better described, and then so on and so forth. But Spartans and Bucknell.
Well, Bucknell's one of those teams that has some tournament history. I just don't think they're going to be able to beat Michigan State this year with what Michigan State has to bring to the table. Michigan State, for their draw in Detroit, they'll be playing at Little Caesars Arena, which will help them. They'll be playing Bucknell in the first round, and then really any of the 3 teams that they have the possibility to face in the second round, I think they'll be able to handle them without any sort of difficulty, I should say. But then they look ahead to the Sweet 16 matchup, which is potentially Duke. Duke also the second seed in that bracket, the Midwest bracket. A lot of people kind of felt that it was a little bit unfair that they had to face Duke in the Sweet 16 rather than an Elite 8 game. Well, Duke's not a number 1 seed, and Michigan State's not a 2. So that's how this is going to be. I think Michigan State was properly seeded, and they're going to get rewarded by having pretty much 2 home games to play. And then they'll have to go to Omaha, and it projects out that they'll play Duke in that Sweet 16 game. So, if you want to beat the best, or you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And for Michigan State to play Duke, whatever round it is, Duke has Michigan State's number over the course of the history with Tom Izzo coaching and Coach K coaching. They're 1-11 versus Duke overall, and they're going to have to find a way somehow to beat them. The one thing that they will have going for them is they'll have some prep time. If they have to play Duke, they'll be playing them on, it projects out to be March 23rd. So you would think that the Michigan State Spartans, given almost a week of prep time, should be able to at least prepare themselves accordingly. Downside is Duke gets 5 days or 6 days to prep for that game. So it is what it is on that side of the bracket. I think Michigan State, again, was properly seeded. There wasn't really anywhere else to put them. The one thing that was really up in the air is where they were going to play their first and second round games. And the committee decided to reward Michigan State rather than Michigan with the games in Detroit. I think if there was one team that would be, I would say, probably not affected by having to play somewhere else, that would be Michigan. I think that Michigan State probably would have preferred to play at Detroit, while Michigan, they would have preferred to play Detroit as well. But, they're going to be a 3 seed in another bracket. And even though they're not playing close to home, they'll be playing in Wichita. Michigan travels well. And we'll get into that a little bit. So, Michigan State gets to play their first 2 games at Little Caesars Arena. They'll have plenty of people there to cheer them on, and looking ahead to those brackets, I just don't see any danger of them losing in that first or second round. So because the opponents that they play didn't really have great finishes to their season. I think TCU's a little bit overseeded at 6, but they're there at 6, and I think that Michigan State shouldn't have any trouble with any of those 3 teams that they look ahead to in the bracket.
Then you got the Michigan Wolverines.
For 3, yes, sir!
Playing the Montana Grizzlies Thursday at 9:50 p.m. on TBS, close to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. The winner will play either Houston or San Diego State, the Aztecs. So, how about it?
Well, there's a little bit of history there. San Diego State right now coached by Brian Dutcher, former Michigan assistant. I don't think they'll have any problem with the Grizzlies in Montana, representing the Big Sky Conference. That 6-11 game, though, is going to be very interesting, simply because Houston coming into this tournament is smoking hot, having a nice run in their conference tournament. And San Diego State, always one of those teams that you just don't want to face in the NCAA tournament because, they play in the Mountain West. They play a decent brand of basketball. And it'll be interesting to see in that second round who they get. That said, I think that Michigan probably will be able to handle those 2 teams, whichever one pops up after the first round, and they look to be on course for another Sweet 16 bid. In their bracket, they have North Carolina on the other side. A lot of people pointing to that game in the Sweet 16 as a big matchup, and Michigan having lost to them earlier this year at North Carolina and losing them rather handily. Michigan's a completely different team than when they face North Carolina. And North Carolina is a different team. And Michigan, I think, came into this tournament scorching hot. The only downside for them is they had a whole week and a half off before they'll play Montana. So I don't expect them to blow Montana out of the water. They'll be a little bit rusty, but they are the 3 seed. Playing the 14 seed, they should be able to handle that game. And like I said, playing on the other side of the bracket, I think they would probably worry more about Houston just because Houston coming into this one, for them smoking hot. And I think that Michigan will have his hands full in that second round, but they should be able to advance to the Sweet 16.
Looking forward to that. That round of 32 that Michigan will surely advance to against Montana will play on Saturday against apparently Houston. That's what I'm predicting. So
yeah, that's going to be that's a tough game to call. But I think Houston is, like I said, they're playing well right now. But again, they're playing in a conference that doesn't demand the same level that a Big Ten conference does, and I think that Michigan will be able to use that. And what we've seen from Michigan defensively this year, especially at the very tail end of the season, has impressed me a lot more than their offense. And the teams that play Michigan always fear those John Beilein coach teams offensively, but they really haven't seen a team defensively that Michigan has been able to field this year. And I think that'll be something that comes into play when they play a team like North Carolina and maybe additional teams as they advance, because, boy, you look at how they performed defensively over the last month of the season. North Carolina did not play Michigan at the time that they were peaking, and Michigan and John Beilein always seem to peak around this time. And it would be another interesting run to the Sweet 16 last year. They made it to the Sweet 16 and then finally faltered against Oregon. That week of rest, we'll see how that affects them. And maybe they're a little bit fresher having that week off, but we'll see how that pans out.
Yep. That is your NCAA Tournament preview for college basketball in the Mitten, including the Michigan State Spartans and the Michigan Wolverines. Now we transition to pro basketball.
Left sideline, three.
Pistons continue to decline, getting smashed at the Cleveland Cavaliers 112-90. Then they play the Toronto Raptors tough and force overtime 121-119. And then they beat a really bad team in the Chicago Bulls 99-83 at home. And now they're headed out west for a long road trip for 2 weeks. At the Utah Jazz Tuesday at 9, at the Denver Nuggets Thursday at 9, at the Portland Trailblazers Saturday at 10, at the Sacramento Kings a week from Monday at 10, at the Phoenix Suns the day thereafter at 10, and then the Houston Rockets a week from Thursday at 8.
Yeah, that's not the stretch you want to be seeing if you're the Pistons right now. That's just going to be a grueling road trip, and they're playing some teams that really need some wins and are trying to jockey for playoff position in the West. And it's going to be interesting to see on this 6-game roadie where the Pistons are, because, as you said, they've been declining, having lost that game to the Raptors where you thought they had it, and then DeMar DeRozan just drives right down the floor and ties the game up with less than 5 seconds to go, and then they falter in overtime, losing to a very good Raptors team. Yeah, they did beat the Bulls, who really aren't that great, so they did get a win on this week. But these next couple weeks, for the Pistons, who are literally fighting for their playoff lives, that's the last thing you want to see on the schedule is straight road games, and they're all against Western Conference opponents.
Mm-hmm. So that's all we have for Pistons. Now we transition from basketball to hockey and the Red Wings. The Red Wings continuing to tank like good little boys. They get 1 point at the Boston Bruins 6-5 in a slugfest where Jared Coro and the Bruins backup goaltender Kudonov or something like that.
Anton
Kudobin, thank you. Anton Kudobin. And we expected that slugfest, and then the Red Wings go back home and get schooled by the Vegas Golden Knights, who are looking for revenge, 4-0. And then they go to Columbus and lose 4-3 in regulation. They made it interesting in the end. Andreas Athanasiou scoring the goal that inched it to 1 goal, but the Blue Jackets were the better team. And now we're hearing from one of our other co-hosts, Frank Vajner, which you can follow on Twitter at Frank_Vajner, VAJCNER, that Evgeny Svechnikov is staying up in the NHL with the Red Wings until the regular season ends. And he points out that people were tweeting on Friday about his ice time in comparison to Luke Witkowski's ice time. And he said, bigger question, will he get less time than Witkowski, which is indescribably stupid. And you pointed out, Svechnikov got 5:25 of ice time on Friday. Witkowski got 9:16. In other words, it's not a question. It's a way of pointing out how much time on ice each of those two players has had last Friday.
Yeah, they had an injury. Franz Nielsen was injured. Now, it was going to be an emergency basis. And I wanted to talk about this a little bit because I heard an interview with the Grand Rapids general manager, the assistant Red Wings general manager, Ryan Martin, today when they were playing against the Hershey Bears, and they had a lengthy interview with him on the radio. It was originally thought that Svechnikov would come out as an emergency call-up, which would not count against their limit. Post-trade deadline, you only get 4 call-ups per team. And when Nielsen got hurt, there was an emergency situation, so they wouldn't have had to count that against their limit of 4. But then Henrik Zetterberg, who was also injured, decided that he was good enough to go and played in a game, which counted Svechnikov as the 13th forward, which means they had to convert that to a regular call-up, leaving them 1 regular call-up for the rest of the regular season. And it doesn't look like that's going to affect the Red Wings in any big scheme of things, but it's just another thing that you look at how the Red Wings are running this team. Henrik Zetterberg could have easily not played in that game. He could have just said, you know what, I'm hurt. We might as well let Svechnikov play. And it would have been better for the team had Henrik Zetterberg not played in that game. Overall, because they could have kept Svechnikov as an emergency call-up, which means that they would have been able to call up other guys and use those call-ups to bring other players from the Griffins up had they needed to. But instead, Zetterberg decides to play, and then it dings him for a call-up of Svechnikov. And then if you're going to play him 5 minutes, why do you have him up? I don't understand. I mean, I understand why they pulled him up when he was needed, when Nielsen got hurt in that incident with David Backes against the Boston Bruins. But if you're not going to play him, and you have Zetterberg re-entering the lineup, even though he was a game-time decision due to injury, there's no reason to have him there. There's no reason to call him up if you're going to have him be up there to play 5 minutes. They can find anybody to play 5 minutes on that roster right now. And it's just another thing that, when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's a selfish move by Henrik Zetterberg to try to play that game, even though he's dinged up. It's a long season. He's old. It's going to happen. But just say you're injured. You're not good enough to play. It helps the team out because you don't have to lose a call-up. Instead, Zetterberg plays, and now you lose that call-up, which means that you can only call 1 more player up during the regular season if it's not an emergency for the whole rest of the season. And granted, there's only a month and change left, but it's just the same thing over and over again, that the veterans who apparently run this team usurp common sense, and the prospect, in this case Svechnikov, pays for it, because now he's going to be up for the rest of the season, which is good for him. But if you're only going to play him 5 minutes of ice time, then he's not really getting any sort of development because he's not playing on ice situations. You can practice with those guys, and that's not the same as playing an NHL game. And for Luke Witkowski to play 9 minutes in that game was absurd when you have other guys on the bench that can do a lot more and that you want to see perform. I don't need to see Luke Witkowski play 9 minutes to know what he can do. I don't need to see it. And I would rather Svechnikov play those minutes and grow and develop as a player. And also, I don't need to see Henrik Zetterberg play if he's hobbled. It just doesn't make any sense. But that's what the Red Wings do, is they accede to the veterans' wishes and they end up paying for it again. And it's just another chronicle in the long book that is the Red Wings' mismanagement of this roster. So I'm glad for Svechnikov. He was struggling at the Grand Rapids Griffins this year. Wasn't playing necessarily well, but he was an emergency call-up at first, which made sense. And now he's forced to basically stay up there for the rest of the season. And in the long haul, that's probably a better spot for him. But at the same time, if you're only going to play him 5 minutes, he's not going to develop anything. He's not going to get any chemistry going. He's not going to get any continuity moving. And you would hope, especially in this Western road swing that they have coming up here, that he's able to get some ice time and show what he can do. Because I don't need to see guys like Luke Witkowski play. I know what those guys can do. It's not much. I don't need to see it. I need to see what the kids can do, because those are the guys that are going to be filling this roster in the future. So those are the guys that should be I'm not saying that Svechnikov should get 20 minutes. I'm just saying, if you're going to have a guy play 10 minutes, it should be Svechnikov, not Luke Witkowski. So it doesn't make any sense, but when you're talking about the Red Wings, not much does. And it's just another piece of that puzzle that I'm going to be very glad at some point when that is done, and I don't have to hear about Henrik Zetterberg as captain. I don't have to hear about Ken Hound as general manager. It's absurd. It makes no sense for Henrik Zetterberg to go and play that game and basically take a call off away because he wants to have some pride and show. Yes, he's the captain, but when you're talking about a captain, the captain does what's best for the team. And for the team that have been to take that game off with an injury, allow Svechnikov to go back down to the AHL if they wanted to, but now they can't do that. And now they're kind of hamstrung roster-wise again because they can't manage the roster. They just can't do it. And just another example of how the Red Wings have failed in their roster management.
Yeah.
You blew it!
And to sum it all up, I would like to call today's Detroit Red Wings the dysfunctional dead things. Not just the dead things, the dysfunctional dead things. Summing it all up in 3 words.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect title for them right now, because not only are they losing their way as far as being competitive, but they can't even make simple roster decisions that make sense. And, again, talking about the interview that I heard earlier today, in the way that they talked about the prospects, I mean, you're talking about Filip Hronek like he wasn't going to make the damn team. He's probably their best defenseman right now in Grand Rapids by a long shot. And they were talking about how he wasn't even considered on the radar to start this season. And it's just one of those comments that you can pass off, but at the same time, if you read into it just a little bit, it just shows the myopic nature of how the Red Wings have managed this roster, managed their farm system. A guy like Filip Hronek, he's your second-round pick from 2 years ago. That's the guy you need playing in Grand Rapids. I don't need to see Brian Lashoff play. I don't need to spend my money to see him play because I've seen him play 1,000 times, and I know what he can do. I don't need to see guys like that play. And now because of that, you have guys like Vili Saarijarvi who are getting scratched today because they need to go back to 12 forwards and 6 defensemen because of the call with Svechnikov. So they go back to that, and now Saarijarvi, a guy that they're trying to develop and get to a higher level, now doesn't play a game because of that. So it's just one of those things that in a vacuum doesn't make a whole lot of impact, but when you look at it over the course of the season and really over the history of the Red Wings in the last 6 to 7 years, sums up perfectly their lack of player development, because they're talking about guys who they picked at a very high level. I mean, they're talking about Filip Hronek, a second-round pick, and talking about how they didn't view him as a starting defenseman on your AHL team. It just doesn't make any sense. It's completely absurd. you wouldn't say that Philip Hronek is going to be a guy on Grand Rapids, win, lose, or draw, is going to be in your lineup. And it's just baffling to me how they have mismanaged not only the roster with the parent club, but also down at the AHL level, how they have guys that aren't being able to play because their spots are taken by veterans.
Their entire farm system, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't need to pay my money to go watch Brian Lashoff and Dylan McElrath. I just don't.
Especially not McElrath.
I'd rather see them ice Hronek, Hickett's, Sariarvi, and Russo every game and lose some of those games because those guys are developing rather than seeing Brian Lashoff and Dylan McElrath eat up ice time that other guys could have. And it's frustrating, and it's just mind-boggling how it continues to play out, even though the common sense approach would be to let those kids play. So they just spit in the face of what other teams are doing as far as player development. I mean, you look at the rosters of some of the playoff teams, like the Bruins, for example. They got a ton of kids right now that are playing for that team. And they develop them the right way, and they're a successful team. And the Red Wings, for some reason, can't grasp that concept. And this whole rebuild on the fly thing is a sham, because if you're rebuilding on the fly and trying to stay competitive, those two things don't mix. You can't stay competitive and rebuild. Those are two things that just don't go together. You're either A, rebuilding, or you're B, going to be competitive. Those two things are not the same. And so I'm fully in favor of them saying, you know what, screw it. We're going to rebuild. We're going to let the kids play and develop that way. That's fine. But to say that they need to stay competitive and they owe it to the veterans, it's the same tired old line that we've heard many times from many different front office executives, Ken Holland especially, that they owe this to the veterans. They don't owe squat to those guys. The guys that they say they owe stuff to have been exactly responsible for one Stanley Cup, and that was 10 years ago. So to be indebted to those guys for some magic, some magical hold that they have, it just doesn't make any sense. It's not. It doesn't make great sense for them, for a team that's trying to rebuild, and it doesn't make any sense in today's NHL when the game is about speed, it's about youth, it's about all of the things that the Red Wings are not, and they're paying the price for it because they've lost some one-goal games, yes, but when you're losing a lot of those one-goal games, it's not because you're outgunned, it's because you just don't have the talent that is able to compete in today's NHL. And a lot of those one-game or one-loss games are somewhat of mirage because, as you said, the Blue Jackets game, that was a 3-2 final, but the Blue Jackets controlled that game for... The Blue Jackets controlled that. I watched that game. The Blue Jackets controlled the play for literally 55 of the 60 minutes. And they somehow were only down 3-1 when Athanasiou scored.
Thanks for the correction, by the way, on the score.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, it was a one-goal game. And, they're talking about these veterans like they owe them something and they want to stay competitive. You're not doing anything to help yourself and ingratiate yourself with any of the prospects that you have in the system by saying that, because all you're telling them is, hey, you know what? We want you to develop, but we got to play these guys first because we owe it to them to stay competitive. That's dumb. It's stupid. And I cannot wait for this season to be done, and hopefully Ken Holland will be gone, and they bring in somebody that has a fresh, modern outlook on how to run an AHL team.
Mm-hmm. And to sum all that up, that's careless loyalty. Ken Holland still being, at the last we heard, being the top candidate for the Seattle GM job. Seattle doesn't open until 2020. We're in 2018 right now, but it'll only be a couple of years. There's still no talks of an extension between Holland and Chris Ilitch. And apparently, it looks like Ken Holland is still contemplating on leaving the Red Wings by resigning as the general manager.
Yeah, movement whatsoever to even make an effort. From any of the reports that we've heard, that they're going to bring him back next year, and Seattle's going to need a whole front office in place before they're able to play. So the rumors of Ken Holland going to Seattle, those won't die until something gets done.
I can hardly wait 2 years from now. But there's more Red Wings news to attend to. Former Red Wing Pavel Datsyuk is being mentioned by Jeff Moss of the Detroit Sports Rag. Again, the founder and editor-in-chief, which you can still currently follow at Det Sports Rag. His Twitter handle, at Jeff Moss DSR, still suspended for over a month now. Or actually, almost a month. Or just around a month, whatever you prefer. But his latest article, Putin is fixing the KHL Championship for Pavel Datsyuk's team. That's Vladimir Putin, the Russian dictator. And you go back to the other Pavel Datsyuk article, F. Pavel Datsyuk from Jeff Moss, which explained that Datsyuk only cares about winning gold medals more than winning Stanley Cups, winning gold medals for his team Russia, and this is a follow-up article about the KHL playoffs and the KHL Championship. And it mentions Sergei Fedorov being one of the two heroes, Robert Mueller being the other.
Well, this is something that was brought to light by another person that is on Twitter and follows the KHL, SKA, who is a team that is Vladimir Putin's pet team, so to speak. And in the KHL playoffs, how they basically, if you watch the video, I mean, this is one of the most egregious missed calls that you'll ever see. But basically, what it's boiling down to is that SKA is being set up to win the Gagarin Cup, which is the Stanley Cup equivalent in the KHL. And they're doing this so that Vladimir Putin, in his election year, can trumpet the win of SKA and basically use that as a political propaganda machine to help him win the election in Russia. And they talked about how Pavel Datsyuk, who is they tried to paint him as an unknowing pawn, but the comments that he's made about winning the gold medal, and also the fact that he's playing on SKA's team and has no comment about the underhanded nature of how they're going to be advancing to the finals, it's just a joke. And when you're talking about Sergei Fedorov, you mentioned that, in contrast to Pavel Datsyuk, when Sergei Fedorov was with the Columbus Blue Jackets and he had a chance to go play for Russia in the Olympics, he chose to stay behind and work on being with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And at that time, he was in the twilight of his career, but Columbus was a playoff competing team at that time. And he chose to, again, put his priorities where his paychecks are coming from and not his country. And you contrast that with what Datsyuk's attitude and actions have shown. And it just shows the nature of both players. The one interesting twist of the whole thing when it comes down to the KHL is that Sergei Fedorov is the general manager for the second seed in that bracket, the CSKA Moscow team. So it's going to be interesting to see because CSKA Moscow, one of the charter members of the KHL, and obviously a big state-run team dating back to the days of the Soviet Union. They have the potential to play SKA in the semifinal round. And if there's one team that is going to be able to carry the flag for Russia, it's not going to be SKA, is CSKA Moscow. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But as far as Detroit Red Wings fans are concerned, Just something to watch out for. But the main gist of the article by Jeff Moss was just to show the disparity between a guy like Sergei Fedorov, who did everything.
Oh boy, hang on a minute. Yeah, he did a lot. Sergei Fedorov won 3 Stanley Cups with the Detroit Red Wings, 97, 98, and 02. Buck, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's...
Yeah, well, we're subject to the vagaries of the internet. Maybe the Russian spies that are listening in didn't like what we were saying, so they decided to mute me for a little bit. But yeah, it's the same thing that we've talked about. The Red Wings with this misplaced loyalty. You have Sergei Fedorov, who won 3 Stanley Cups with the team, and they're not even mentioning him in the same breath as a guy like Pavel Datsyuk, who won 2 Stanley Cups, one of which he wasn't really a big part of. And they tend to have a lot of recency bias because he was there, and all the brainless fans that love him and don't care that he left for the KHL with basically all that money in his hand. It just goes again to show that the Red Wings, when they're talking about why they do the things they do, this is why. Because they have a lot of fans who are going to pay money to go watch them. Because they think that, they're still wearing their Datsyuk jerseys and they're still talking about how his number should be retired. It's a bunch of bull. And if you need any more proof about who Pavel Datsyuk's priorities lie with, this season has provided a lot of introspection as to where his priorities lie and where he thinks that he needs to push his energy towards.
Yep, Sergei Fedorov skipping the Olympics and focusing on the Blue Jackets was a report from ESPN. We got some breaking news here as we transition to another sport. Former Tennessee Titans running back DeMarco Murray is scheduled to meet with the Lions on Monday, according to Adam Schefter. Earlier off the air, a day before this podcast, Richard Sherman said he was going to visit a few teams, including the Lions, until he signed with the San Francisco 49ers a 3-year, $39 million contract. And like he pointed out off the air, the 49ers had the most cap space, which they did.
Yeah, so Richard Sherman goes to the 49ers. The way that we're going to tie that in with the Lions is that the Lions obviously would have entertained talking to him and thinking about some contract terms. It was mentioned that he might come visit them, but when you're talking about the money and what he can get, Richard Sherman obviously choosing San Francisco. Now, another thing that a lot of people fail to remember is that Richard Sherman played at Stanford and has a lot of family and a lot of ties to that area. And so going to the San Francisco 49ers isn't as absurd or isn't as transparent enough when you're talking about the money, as well as the fact that he has some major ties to that area. So they were able to give him a contract that, of course, is going to be incentive-laden, but he has the potential to make $13 million a year for the next 3 years. And I'm pretty sure the Lions wouldn't have been able to match that. And like I said, the other thing is that he has ties to the area, playing his college ball at Stanford, so it wasn't a big surprise that he signed with John Lynch and the 49ers. But the Lions being mentioned for pretty much any other of the big-name free agents that are going to be around, such as DeMarco Murray. And there was some talk about Le'Veon Bell back a couple months ago when he was making some noise about the franchise tag that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to put on him. The fact that the Detroit Lions are being mentioned in these type of talks now just goes to show that there are some improvements being made down there. And in years past, those guys wouldn't have even had a second thought about Detroit. They wouldn't have even had them on the radar. But now that you have Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia in there and are trying to do the right things, guys like DeMarco Murray, guys like Richard Sherman, who are on the back end of their careers but still have some viable service time left, are looking to sign or at least talk to the Lions about signing and have them at the top of Murray, like you said, is going to be probably meeting with the Lions here, and whether or not they sign him remains to be seen. One thing that I will say is that DeMarco Murray, when he didn't get signed by the Dallas Cowboys in 2015 and ended up going to Tennessee, it looks like it was the right move because 3 years later, the Titans are rid of him. So you're talking about a guy who, again, is on the back end of his career. He's going to be 30 years old, or he is 30 years old going into this season. So when you're talking about running backs in the NFL, 30 is that golden age where you start to have that decline. And in a smaller role, DeMarco Murray might be the guy that the Lions can use to establish that running game that they have not had since forever. And maybe something that bears some attention. But my overall view of this is that the Lions being mentioned in any type of these free agent talks is a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. So there's your breaking news, and now one team left to cover, but it'll be a quick mention.
That one is long gone.
The Tigers have signed catcher Jared Saltalamacchia to a minor league deal with an invite to spring training, so they're bringing Salty back. So not going to change anything there. So
no, and the thing with Jared Saltalamacchia is the fact that he's familiar with the team, and they needed some catching depth because it's probably one of the positions of many that they don't have a lot of depth at. And for all of the things being thrown about and talked about with Jared Saltalamacchia, he's only 32. And he just seems like he's a lot older, but he's not. He's 32. And, it's a no-risk situation for the Tigers bringing him in. He hadn't signed a contract with any of the other teams. After he left the Tigers, he got bounced around a little bit, and he'll be back with the Tigers in spring training and possibly going to Toledo to continue playing. But with what the Tigers have at catcher, again, this is going to be a bad team, and so there's not really any reason to raise a lot of eyebrows about them making this move, because all they're doing is making sure they have major league depth at a position which is relatively important to have that at, and that's catching. And so Saltalamacchia gets brought back by the Tigers, and the worst case scenario is that he resurrects his career in some way, and they're able to use him as a trade chip. The worst thing that's probably the best thing that could happen. The worst thing that could happen is he gets released, and there's no worse for wear.
Yep. So that's pretty much it. That's episode 307 of the Week in Review. Before we sign off, and no segments this week, sorry about that, guys, we want to remind everyone to share this episode and our entire podcast on social media and have their friends share that as well, because we want to tell them that the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast is in search of a wider local audience that is fans of sports, so please spread the word about the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast and its Facebook page. Buck, I'll talk to you next week. Great job as always.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Yep. And I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. And Buck Geno at Buck Geno III, 3 I's for Roman numerals. And our new Twitter handle at Michigan_Truth. Also subscribe to our Reddit account and like and share the Michigan Sports Truth Facebook page. We'll talk to you next week at episode 308. Thanks very much for listening, downloading, and sharing. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Bon appétit.
The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast do not make any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
And mission complete.